I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
All right, fine. I'll be a gracious host. How you doing?
Little Mermaid is the scariest Disney movie by far, though.
Why the hell is Ace Blade in your Kickstarter?
Some comics. I'm getting controversial today. We're gonna get controversial today with.
My proudest moment is this interview and being able to talk to you two.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics, in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions and now Freestyle Comics, respectfully brings to you the 142nd episode of the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Danny J. Quick, and across the way is the hotshot of Ohio, Michael Watson, in the building. And we are your award-winning two blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic book. We are live on the ALG network via Facebook, Instagram, Kick, Twitch, YouTube, and all these other places also. If you are listening or watching us, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share and review the podcast. All your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. Michael Watson.
Oh, wow.
What's going on, brother?
Nothing much. Just trying to get into the right chair. This is the Four Tales podcast, y'all. So,
Hey,
just trying to find that right angle.
this is a little different, man. Like I was telling you before we went live, this is my very first time ever doing this show without Kyron. And I feel strange, man. It feels strange, but I'm glad to have you here. Me and you've done plenty of live streams together. So
Which we have.
if I'm gonna have somebody here, Kyron can't be replaced, but Most Epic is definitely a 1A for sure. So thank you for being here, brother.
Appreciate it. I love y'all show. So helping out, helping fill a chair for a night is no problem at all.
Absolutely, man. Before we bring in our guest, man, how you been doing? What you been working on? You got some hot shots. You just told me about a nice vigilance variant that you might be doing. What's going on with it?
What am I not working on? Tony is taking lessons. He's transferring the 5-star Kickstarter over the backer kit so we can get the surveys out. I am waiting for the vigilance trade from China so I can start shipping it. And then me and the interns are prepping for the Hotshot trade, volume 3, that will be launching in a couple weeks. And I've been talking with the Emerald Quest team, Seth DeMoose, Brian Lambert, and Venecia Designs. If you guys, she's on the colors. Brian's going to take over writing on issue 5, and Seth is our ongoing artist. So getting that ready for 2 trades for sure. Have 2 Kickstarters happening early next year, and talking with you about the Hotshot Ace Blade crossover. I'm waiting to draw
busy,
that.
Man.
Yeah, it's a lot on my table right now.
Absolutely. Well, it sounds like you're gonna need somebody to talk about these books. You got a lot of projects coming out. It sounds like you're gonna need some marketing and some journalism. Somebody to go in and read these books, give it an honest review. And tell the public about these things. Because recently people have been comparing Black indie comics to the big 2 and saying that maybe maybe we should hold Black indie comics to a higher standard. I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
I'm
You know?
absolutely fine with that. I think they should be discussed and critiqued just like a Marvel or DC Image, Boom, Bad Bug, whoever, Mad Cat, Mad Cave. I think
Mhm.
they all should be honestly critiqued and reviewed. I mean,
Absolutely.
there's a couple things I'll let slide just because things are harder for us to come by. But as far as character development, telling a story, you know, pacing,
Mhm.
grammar, all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, that's all fair, man. That's all fair.
Absolutely. And I think our guest today also feels that same way. We got graphic designer, illustrator, the creator of the Black Comic Universe. And don't y'all live close to each other?
He lives in Toledo, I believe,
Okay.
and I'm down here in Columbus. That's not that far from me.
Okay. And
I've been to a couple of his events.
an Ohio native, Imani Lateef is in the building. Imani,
What's
how
up,
you
fam?
doing?
Good, good.
Thank you for coming on the show, man. Like I said, this is without Kyron, man. I don't know what to do. I'm just gonna be talking, and then hopefully we can fill the time. Hopefully we can fill the time. But we wanted to have you on the show, man. We had quite a conversation a couple weeks ago about indie comics and the journalism, around it. Like there's a community of folks who spend a lot of time, talking about Black comics. You got yourself, you got Black Sci-Fi, you got the Black Comic Lords, you got BJ Kicks or Comics Are Dope,
Mhm.
who all spend a lot of time talking about Black comics. And sometimes we can feel like we are held to a higher standard than even the big two, because there's the people in our communities, have a voice and they're not afraid to use it. They're going to reach out to you and say if they don't like something or if they do like something. But we don't quite get the same support as the big two. And those are, there's plenty of reasons for that. So we wanted to get your perspective on, this whole conversation about critiquing and the real journalism behind Black comics. So give us a quick introduction of yourself, what you've been doing, your space in the community, and tell us what you think.
All right. My name is Imani Lateef. I am a comic book collector. Um, for this conversation, basically, what I have my website, Black Comix Universe. Um, what I've been trying to put together is sort of like it's like an online magazine kind of.
Hmm.
It follows my personal journey as a collector, but also I'm also sharing historic Black comics or what I call historically Black comics.
Hmm.
Sharing with folks like the history behind, you know, the comic books, some of the most popular comic books, the Black comic book grails that a lot of collectors might consider to be grails.
Yep, yep.
So if you go on my website, Black Comix Universe, you'll see where I break all that stuff down, like the history behind certain books. I also discuss, put together guides for folks as to books they can collect on certain topics. For instance, that was funny. Um, all I saw was a head. Um, oh, that was hilarious. No,
She's sneaking in
also
here
if you go
stealing
to
my
the
supplies.
website, oh, that's my son. Yep, my
Mhm.
supplies. He's always want to come to the studio. But also on if you go to the website, so like for instance, I put together guides, historic guides. Like I have a timeline of Black women in comics, for instance. I also have a list of the first Black Eisner Award winners, or the full list of all the Black Eisner Award winners. Actually, so a little over 30 or so Black Eisner Award winners. So yeah, so I do a lot of research on the history of comics, um, Black comic keys, and then also, like you both are familiar, I do review uh, indie comics. That's something I've been focusing mainly on Black indie comics right now. Thinking about doing some more mainstream books also, but yeah, and I've actually reviewed both of your books.
Mhm.
So you guys are familiar with my work, and I'm familiar with yours.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say that I do go to Imani when I need honest feedback, an honest opinion about the books, because he does not hesitate to tell me his truth when reading our stories, reading the stories that I do or whatnot. So he's definitely in my small list of people. I'm like, he gets early copies, he gets early reads, and he gives me feedback, he gives me honest opinions, and he also asks me questions about his interpretation of things, that gets me really thinking about how to move forward with the character. So I'm definitely on board with honest feedback.
Yeah, I think again, I know a lot of people have different opinions about this in the community, but I think especially the longer you're in it, like me and Mike have been making these comics for a while. We have been
Mhm.
making these comics for a good while. So I think, you
Mhm.
know, for myself, I need, a honest critique. If I'm doing something
Mhm.
wrong, there's certain things that I shouldn't still be doing, at this stage of making comics.
Mhm.
I might not be the best at it, but I'm up there with the ones who are doing the best work, I think. And if
Mhm.
I want to claim that, then I have to be able to take a honest critique. So, um, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. So, um, I think we all saw the post. I think it was on the Black Comics Lord place page,
Mhm.
and somebody brought up just their perspective that we should be critiqued like the big two, and
Mhm.
there were dissenting opinions. Some people said, hey, who are you to judge, creators? Who are you to judge people who are making these books? Who are y'all to say what's good and what's bad? And then there were other people who were saying, hey, if I buy a book, if I'm consuming these things, I'm the perfect person to say, what's good and what's bad. And I have a voice just like I use it to talk about, you know, Batman and Superman. I should use it to talk about Ace Blade and Hot Shot too, you know?
Absolutely. Like I want people to be talking about our books just like they talking about those books. If there was more conversations about our books, we would have more sales. We would have more people aware of our content. And you can't be complaining and being upset about people reviewing your content or whatnot, because at least someone is reading it.
Right.
And
Right.
trust me, I love all levels of support. I love all levels of support. But I know there is a level of support where people just buy my stuff because they like me and they
Hmm.
want to, be a part of
Right.
helping me get to where I am. And they don't read no comics. They just have them in their bag and poly bag and off to the side. And I appreciate y'all
Mhm.
and I love y'all and keep buying the book. But I also need people that are reading the book to buy the book. I need people to do critiques, especially people that have an audience, that have a voice, that can get people to go read that book, to go over and seek it out. A good review and a bad review can get somebody to do that.
Mhm.
That's facts. That's
No,
facts.
no. Yeah, my response, my general response. Oh, just so you know, I don't know if you saw the video, Mike. I just want to let me tell you about your boy Danny. How he's 10 toes, ten toes down. Check this out. Check this out.
Okay.
I
Okay.
was like, I was in hostile territory. I was behind enemy lines. Okay, it was
Hmm.
me and five black comic book creators. I'm the only person that writes reviews. So I'm in the stream, and you ever be at the club? It's like you're surrounded by the ops, but then you look over somebody's shoulder, like in Juice, but you see your boy, and oh, I looked over, I looked over my man's shoulder. I saw Danny. I said, my man, about 10 minutes, like Danny was gone.
I was, I was at a,
I
I was
was,
at a church. I was at a church function. I stepped out quickly to give my perspective, and I had to go. I had to go.
I was, I was like, I couldn't wait to get on here and be like, yo, but to be honest. to be fair, that's just what I'm really saying is Danny is actually really is one of the coolest dudes out there that would appreciate critique. So I know that about him. So I was like, at least I got somebody, you know, that had my back. But man, that dude goes. I was sitting there like, doo, doo, doo. No,
Hey,
but
I was out of there
my
pretty
main
quick.
response that was hilarious. But my main response to the whole idea of critique, the mainly it was like there was a big conversation about is it fair to critique black indies the way we critique the big two or major publishers. And I was saying yes, if for no other reason than the fact that one, a good portion of y'all are using it as a marketing strategy, that you want folks that are buying the X-Men or buying Batman to turn around and invest in your books. And if you're going to use that as a marketing strategy, if you know comic book folks, and that's the thing, I don't presume that this new wave of black comic book creators are actually familiar with what we would consider to be traditional comic book culture. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't assume that the every comic book black comic book creator right now is even a collector. Like some of these folks, this is definitely a generational thing where a lot of folks first experience with comics now is actually the X-Men cartoon. You know what I'm saying? It's like I hear that as an inspiration for a lot of folks, and I'm just like, wow, like I was my first book was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so it's like there is definitely like some cultural differences here, but yeah, the average if you want the common comic book collector to pick up your book, you should be prepared for that type of critique because this person has been reading Batman for 40 years, and if you want him to spend, and they're very mindful as to how much money they spend on comics. So if you want them to spend money and invest money in your book, then yeah, you're gonna have to be prepared for that type of critique.
Yeah, I think that's fair, man. I know for myself, I've had, like you said, people from all levels of fandom, have bought our books, man. I've had people tell me this is the first comic book I've ever read. I've had people buy Ace Blade and be like, "Yo, this is the first actual comic book I've actually ever read." And I've had people who have been collecting comic books for longer than I have been making comic books. Buying comic books, and I always think like for the people who have been reading comics forever, the people who, the nostalgia that's written into Ace Blade, the golden age tropes and things that are built into Ace Blade for that specific audience, of course they're gonna, when they pick up the book, they're gonna feel it and touch it, and they're gonna read it, and they're gonna automatically compare it to the books that they've been reading for 30 years now. They're not gonna be able to not do that. Just because it's a indie book doesn't mean that they're gonna cut off half of their brain and say, okay, this is in its own space compared to the books that I've been reading. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a superhero comic, it's a vigilante comic. They're going to compare it to the books that they've been
Is
reading.
reading. Now, I do think there is a little bit of room of grace with that. I remember when we got a review for somebody who read Vigilance, and they wrote a review on it and practically destroyed the book, but then mentioned that several times how they don't like indie books. So it's like they don't like indie books and they're not into superhero books. So it's like, why were you the person reviewing the book?
Why did you even?
Yeah. So, and I've got a pretty thick skin, so I've always, when people are reviewing the books, either they're gonna say something I like, or they're gonna say something that I don't like. And and the thing with reviews is you take what you like and you move forward with it, and what you disagree with is just what you disagree with, and leave it alone. There is no kind of like, you don't have to fight for your book in the comment section or anything like that, because everyone takes everything differently. And I just remember I was like, all right, well that's fair. And then when I got to the part was like, well, so they don't usually read superhero books, especially indie books, because it takes so long for you to get the next issue. But these got put on my desk. Well, y'all put these books on the wrong person's desk. That's all I'm saying. But you have to be available for critiques, whether you agree or disagree with them. Like I said, and I'm going to say that until the wheels fall off. A critique means people are reading the book, and a critique meant that somebody was into the book well enough to tell you what they thought about it.
Right.
And that is promotions, that is advertisement, that is getting the word out about your book.
Yeah, the marketing part is something that I've grown to appreciate over the years. Like we can't compare to Teen Titans. Like I think me and Imani, we've talked about this before. Like when it comes to targeting the youth demographic, right? If I want my books to be seen by young people, I'm competing with hundreds of thousands of dollars of advertisement for Teen Titans, for dang on My Little Pony. It's crazy to think that Ace Blade is gonna break through when when these young kids are watching YouTube, and I can't put $10,000 into ads for them to see it so that they can ask their parents for it. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that I would have thought about 7 years ago. But today it's like, okay, I'm glad that I made Ace Blade for young adults and for adults, because those are the people who I can reach on social media. So
Mm.
I think that it's important that we have platforms like yours and others that talk about these, and that we put content out around them, whether it's reviews or like the Beam Awards that we're doing. We're doing the Beam
Mhm.
Awards, which, by the way, voting ends for the Beam Awards on Monday, and we're going to be doing the results for we're going to be
The
doing
voting's still open.
yeah, for the
Okay.
finals. For the
Oh,
finals, yeah.
fine. Sorry.
Yeah. And we're going to be doing the results on the 29th of November. We got a Beam Award winner right here. You know what I'm saying? We got one from last year right here. So definitely make sure you check those out. But I think the work that that y'all do is more than just important. Like I said, you have a platform where people respect your voice,
Mm.
and if you don't, if you're not honest about what you're seeing, eventually that's gonna corrode. Like if you're just saying, "Oh, because this book is black, I like it, and everybody should buy it," people not gonna believe you after after they buy the
Right.
book and they're like, "No, this is trash." Like they're not gonna believe you no more. So you got to be honest.
When I first started doing the critiques, I started doing searches on critiques on especially our books, the Black indie books, and typically what happens is the writer just sort of like writes a long breakdown of what happened in the book. Is not technically a critique of the book at all. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then it gives that. Then after they do all that, they give the book about five, like 3.25 or 4 stars, and that's the end of it. So the top. So at first, I wanted to make sure that when I wrote my critique, it was just that, a critique. It wasn't a review. I wasn't just spoiling the book for folks. I was literally highlighting the parts of the book, the strong points of the book, and highlighting some of the parts of the book that was an issue for me. You know what I mean? And it's always interesting because, like, for the course, the first books I'm reviewing are um, y'all's books, Victor's books, and I don't have a personal stake, but like you guys are close. So like Victor's my cousin, so when I'm reviewing his book, I don't.
Wait, what? I didn't. What?
Oh,
I
you
didn't.
didn't know this?
I did not know that. I did
No, yeah,
not.
me and Victor go back. Like it's kind of like play cousin, but no, we family. Like
Yeah.
our
Okay.
families,
Okay.
like we grew up together. Um, I knew he. If you ask him, he got into comics from me
Hmm.
because his family would come up to visit my family, and we lived down the street from a comic book shop.
Oh wow.
So his first experience at a comic book shop is more likely here in
You
Toledo.
know, Victor
So
Dandridge sent me some stuff earlier today. Some stuff that I was gonna share.
I
Team
I
spoiler alert.
got I got my I got my pack too. I got my
Did
pack
you?
too.
Okay. So I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the only one. All right. But it looks good though. It looks good for sure.
That's very good. Shout out to
Um,
Victor. But yeah, so like in those, so it's funny. Like I just reviewed, uh, um, reviewed Hot Shot 12,
mhm.
right? And it's funny. So I had my wife read my review, and my wife pointed out a line. She was like, "That sounds like a shot. Are you trying to take a shot?" And I said, "You know what? I am trying to take a shot. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking a shot." And he expects me to take a shot. You know what I mean? It's like I was referring back to my other review of issue 11, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, and I was looking back on the website, and I was like, wait a minute, it's been 2 years, man. I'm throwing a shot. Like I'm a Hot Shot fan. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I'm not just the average person. I'm day one, so it's like I feel some sort of way having to wait like that.
Yeah.
Now it's
Especially.
like, and I
Well, never mind.
know the
I ain't gonna
pushback
interrupt.
is like, well, we're indies, we have certain parameters and the economics of all this kind of stuff. As a fan, I'm like, bump all that. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I want hot shots. It's like, if it was up to me, Mike wouldn't do anything but hot shot. Like that's all I'm demanding as a customer. You know what I'm saying? So I left it in there because I wanted him to. I did want him to feel some sort of way about that. I wanted
Mm-hmm.
him to see that and be like, "Ooh," you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, I took a shot and I didn't edit it out and I ran with that. So I wanted. So if it, so if that's breaking some rules or something like that, I'm willing to eat that. But it's like at the same time, Victor didn't send me that pack because I was going to be like, it's like, oh, good job, buddy. It's like, no, it's like you see something in there. Like I give Victor crap all the time because Victor can draw
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and he won't draw. Like I publicly embarrass him with like every opportunity that I get about that point. It's like I'm willing to be that bad guy in certain respects if I think it helps y'all be better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like I don't think, um, and it's and to go back to the original, this how this whole dramatic thing started. Uh, the brother Ronald that wrote that post, I've been talking to him for it's been a couple weeks now. Him and others, we got like it's like almost like a small book club of folks, and you'd be amazed at how we're having these some amazing conversations, and we've built a library of black indie books, and we've been like breaking stuff down, discussing them. We have our favorites, and so at the end of the day, if there's any question as to whether or not these folks are supporters, you can rest assured that these folks are the only supporters. They're actually creators in their own right. Some of them are editors. Some of them are folks like myself that write reviews on a regular basis. Some get paid to write their critiques on books. So it's not coming from, but I do take issue with the idea that it's like, who are you? That whole vibe as to, kind of trying to discredit you, which would,
Discredit your
ultimately
opinion.
discredit their opinion. Right.
Yeah.
And I don't
Right.
appreciate that. I
No.
don't think
Yeah.
it's fair.
I Yeah, I think that is. I mean, everybody has an opinion, and we all don't mind voicing our opinions when it's content that we are consuming. I mean, MCU gets massacred, DC gets massacred, or whatnot, and like I
Hmm.
said, I just think people miss that point that that is the type of conversation that gets these books read, that gets these books
Right.
seen, that gets these books in people's hands. And I absolutely appreciate Imani taking that shot, because him and Travis are one of the reasons why I push so hard to try to get out more than one copy of Hot Shot. Like where we're at right now, Hot Shot 13 is completely drawn. It is being inked and colored right now. Hot Shot 14 is being drawn and inked right now.
I'm
Hot
talking.
Shot 15 is being written right now. And we got
Hey,
the
man.
trade coming out before the end of this year.
Put them interns to work, man. You gotta live like.
Hey,
I'm
I
always
be so
imagining.
jealous.
I'm always imagining like Mike's studio is like a sweatshop. Like you got like interns like just sitting around a table, like packaging books, and somebody's at a laptop, a computer. Write
Hey, look.
faster,
The intern one of our interns just finished the official trade cover dressing for Hot Shot Trade Volume 3, which I just posted online.
Man.
So no, we are putting in the
Yes.
work.
Do it again.
Very much so.
Right. Yeah.
I love it. All right, Imani, before we get to quick takes, I'm gonna give you a critique. All right. I'm gonna give you a critique. I'm turning the tables.
Oh shoot!
So
Spicy.
this whole thing started from my perspective. What I saw was people said that if we talking about Marvel, we need to talk about indies like we talk about Marvel and DC. Okay.
Right.
Now I'm on your website.
Yes.
And I see critiques on here. All right.
Mhm.
And I see critiques of indie books, but I don't
Mhm.
see no critiques of Marvel books on here. Okay. Now,
That's
one
right.
of the reasons that I follow my man BJ Kicks, Comics Are Dope, is because I want to buy, when Icon and Hardware comes out, I want to be able to get it. I want to know, that there's a book that I might be interested in. If Ironheart got a new book coming out, I want to know, where to go to know about these books that I might be interested in. So my critique to you is next week when this Shadow Cabinet book comes out, I need to see a critique from you on your website, good or bad, however it goes. I need to see a critique from you on your website.
See, it's interesting. So like, yeah, I'm all for that, and with the understanding that I may never interview a milestone person ever again in my life, or be friends with certain creators, because like I've been itching to write a review on the Storm issue 1.
Oh, you have, yes, please do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna make any friends with this critique, but
That ain't what it's
I
about,
wanna-
though. That ain't what it's about.
No, but see, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but that was the part of the conversation, because, like for instance, I'm not trying to throw nobody under the bus. So when that book came out, right, I'm hitting people in the DMs like, "Yo, you better say something, because this is not good." And I have folks that have like platforms like myself, because I knew they were going to review the book, and they get out there and they had to like walk it back, because it's like I know that this person's opinion I know this person has a very high bar, and I know that this book did not reach the standards that this person has.
Yeah.
And so when I finally got to hear him say what he thought about the book, it was just like, man. But I could see how he was painted into this corner, because he wanted to get folks to support the book, because there's this, I kind of think it's a bit of a mythology, but it's like if people don't, pre-order the book and buy the book and all that kind of stuff, they're gonna just cancel it.
Yeah.
So they are afraid to really give their opinion on books, because they just think they're going to that reviewers, and this is part of the conversation when the Black Comic Lords were talking about reviews. Like Lonzo's fear was that our reviews and our critiques are going to basically scuttle the whole ship somehow. Like we're basically going to ruin it for everybody. But that's what happens when you like someone picks up uh, a book that's supposed to be lauded and celebrated, like this Shadow Cabinet book. It's got a ton of hype, but man, if I pick up that book and that thing, if there's a hole, you know how I am. If
Hey,
there's a
Daryl,
hole,
Daryl
I'm gonna
Banks drawing
find
it. I'm fairly confident it's gonna be good. My man Daryl,
it. You
Daryl
know,
Banks is one of the goats for me. So if he's drawing it, it's got to be pretty good.
I
in a
mean,
weird sort of way, I think that might be not necessarily a problem.
well, like I understand what you're saying, because like so, Storm is a character that should have been had ongoing series. She should have been in her own book. She is a big enough and epic enough character to where she can be in her own solo stories. And you get one,
Check
and you're
this
like,
out. They're like real talk, right off the top, right? That book.
mhm.
Why didn't they have an all female creative team? Why didn't they launch that book like they did Nubia? Stephanie Williams, Alita Martinez, and it's like there was a ton of buzz around that book, around Nubia. I
Yeah,
don't see the same buzz for this book.
that's a
It's
different.
not, and it's not a shot to the creator. It's like it's not on him. Like Marvel, went
Don't
another route
yeah.
how they want to market and launch it. But I
Market
think they
Marvel don't market books like I mean in my they just don't they don't market black books like that. I don't think Marvel don't. But I
mm-mm.
don't think I think that like I said we got to get the quick takes, but I think that there's a whole industry of not industry, but there's a whole community of people who build their content off of hating stuff. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like there's a whole when it comes to the Marvel movies, when it comes to fights, when it comes to basketball, when it comes to whatever the thing is, there are people who hate everything, and there's people who talk about how much they hate stuff online all the time, and it doesn't stop
Mhm.
people from buying things. You
Right,
know
but
what I'm
there's
saying?
also a way to discuss your hate, to have a critique. There's a positive way to have a negative critique. There is, and a lot of people choose not to do it that way. You can
Right.
you can talk about something and not be a fan of it.
Yeah.
Um, that's what's wrong. That's what happened with it's this the book I always talk about, the one
Uh,
that Kari Randolph made.
oh,
Uh,
excellent.
Not excellent. No, that's really good.
Excellent.
Sirens,
I was about to say.
Mosaic.
Sirens. Oh,
Mosaic
Mosaic.
was not a
Mosaic.
good
Oh
book.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mosaic.
It was
Right.
not a good comic book, but I
I got
got the
them
first
six.
three issues.
I got
I
them six.
supported it, and I talked about why I did not like it, but I did not dog the book. I did not tear it up. I didn't have a hate speech about it. The problem is that what Imani was talking about, or what I think it is that we don't have enough content featuring our characters in mainstream to be able to have trash versions of our characters and
Mm,
have good versions of our characters.
yeah.
There's so many trash white characters out there that they are also balanced because they have enough of the good characters out there, so they get to have that full
That's
discourse of review.
that's
So
a
Mm.
we fall
valid
into that trap
valid
of when we
perspective.
finally get one of ours out there, it's like, all right, don't decimate it because then we won't get any more.
Right.
That's a
But
valid perspective.
I think we gotta let go of that fear because no, we'll get another one.
Yeah, we
It's like
will. It's enough.
this is it's
It's
like
enough of us making
at the
stuff.
end of the day, it's like this is Storm. It'll be another one. It's like this is Luke Cage or this is Black Panther. There's gonna be another one. You know what I mean? It's not like they're just gonna just stop.
Yeah,
You
like
know.
so. I had the same thing that you were talking about. Um, I had that issue with that Static book. It was a couple years ago. I think it was like Shadows of Dakota or something like that. Now I
Yeah,
love Nicholas Draper Ivy. I love that
I
dude. I
agree.
love his art. He got a dope style. But that last issue was very rushed. Like I could tell, like the art was not his normal level. So as much as I talked about them first three issues being great, I
Mm-hmm.
had to say something about, what I'm saying? I had to say something about the last year. I was like, come on now, this I can
But see,
tell.
that's the thing. That right there. That right there. A lot of times, where I'm at right now is that if I'm writing a review, it's probably going to be because Oh, nobody gonna say something. All right, now I'm gonna say something. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Y'all not gonna y'all see that? Y'all saw that panel. Y'all saw that page. Y'all saw that panel. We ain't gonna talk about that. Guess what? I'm about to talk about it. You know what I'm saying?
Let's talk about it.
Because it's like that's where my issue comes in. It's like we're just not gonna just act like this book is, you know, the best thing y'all have ever read when y'all just it's like I can understand the marketing because I have some friends that work in retail or they'll help, you know, promote other folks' books and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, I can, you know, write a bad critique about this book, but I want this person to win. So I'm not gonna write a bad critique, even though I know this deserves a bad critique. It's like so you get that, but for me personally, it's like, yeah, and it's weird. Like Milestone is definitely one of the companies where it's like I had some issues with the Static series too. Um, but that's because it's like I saw. I'm not one of the. I don't know if anybody else remembers this, but the original relaunch had Kyle Baker drawing Static, and those original pencils that he shared, my God, and it never happened. Like, and then they somewhere in there they pivoted. It was around, you know, the Black Lives Matter really took off, so they did this pivot where they got younger artists and younger writers on the book. But had they gone with Baker's vision, from what I could tell, that book would have been off the hook. But
Yeah, I see that exclusive, that retailer exclusive variant cover Kyle Baker for #1, but yeah, I don't see nothing else.
he shared like it was like a couple pages. It was of a sample of, you know, when they first started about relaunching. They shared a couple pages of Kyle Baker Static. I even try to find it, but they were off the hook.
Yeah,
but yeah, so basically,
okay,
but
all right. We got to get
yeah,
the quick takes. We got to get the quick takes
right.
before I run over my time. But man, it's always good to talk to you. But let's get the quick takes, man. If y'all have not seen the show, quick takes is a rapid Q&A session where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets from the internet. All right, so I found out some stuff about you, Imani, and we're gonna spill it right now.
Right now.
Quick takes.
Hold on, let me clear my search history.
It's too late. It's too late. I got the
browser
screenshot.
history.
No. So these questions, you got 45 seconds each to answer each of these questions off the top of your head, and these are just questions to get our audience to know you a little better. That's all it really is. So, question number one. Yes. I saw you posted a picture about Imani trivia. Okay, so I want you to tell us what is one fact about you that people will be surprised to know.
That I did 2 TED Talks.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, if you do a search on TED Talk, Black Comix, or Imani Lateef TED Talk, I did a TED Talk on Black Comix, and I did a second TED Talk during COVID. Now, here's a kicker. That TED Talk, I explained why Toy Story, the movie, the animated film, is a slave narrative.
Wait a minute.
And it's deep. It is deep.
I'm gonna have to
I
watch
wasn't
this.
high when I wasn't high either.
I'm gonna have to watch this one. This I saw as soon as I saw I googled it, and the first thing that came up, Toy Story is a slave narrative. Let me explain. Imani Lateef. I'm gonna have to watch this one for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. Okay, let me bookmark that real quick.
I think you got to go to your next question.
All right, question number two. I heard one of your favorite foods is spaghetti. So I want to know What are the best things to go in a Imani Lateef spaghetti?
Chunky spaghetti sauce, like the chunky stuff. I don't like the runny stuff.
You don't put like special. You don't put like green peppers and mushrooms and all that stuff in your spaghetti. Just
No, I want the depth. That's what I want. The chunky sauce.
That has
That's,
all the stuff
it gets-
in it.
It's like in the jar. I'm not trying to do a lot of work. I'm trying to want it all, ready to
Said,
go. I'm not trying to. I'm not in there like. All right.
said, I'm not. I ain't chopping no onions, none of that. Put it all in the jar.
No.
I love it. I had a pretty good spaghetti earlier today. Okay, question number 3. All right, if you could do only one of these, if you could support the rest of your life by doing one of these 2 things, and you couldn't do the other ever again,
Okay.
which one would you do? Would you bring back Junebug, or would you continue to do journalism?
Oh.
Hmm. I would bring back Junebug.
Okay,
I still got
All
some ideas. It seems like how it is. It's like I definitely want to give him his just due.
Mhm.
And he's not like he's gone away. I do share him a lot when I do comic book classes and stuff like that with kids. So he's not gone anywhere.
Okay, all right. So question number 4.
Mhm.
In your opinion, Imani,
Mhm.
what is the next level for Black indies?
Mm. Phew. The next level for Black indies.
You got to take a deep breath on it.
Yeah.
The next level.
Or how do we get to the next level?
All right, so this might be controversial, but I want you to, especially y'all, I want you to really think about this. That once you realize, it's definitely like a Matrix thing. You know how when Morpheus says, "Is that air you're breathing?" Right?
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, Neo becomes, Neo. Right? It's like that in this comic book thing. Y'all think y'all selling books. Y'all not comic book companies. Y'all are licensing companies.
Okay.
And once y'all wrap your head around that, if y'all move like licensing companies, I think that's the next level of this. I think the big 2 is the big 2 because they fool a lot of their competition into thinking, oh, we're all competing in comics. Marvel and DC aren't comic book companies. They're licensing companies that happen to publish books. And they just so happen to have the advantage of running the largest comic book franchise, which is comic book shops.
Yeah.
Because comic book shops, if they don't carry anything, they carry Marvel and DC. That's like they're literally every comic book shop is the McDonald's of Marvel and DC. Like that's how they operate. So they're not in the comic book business. They're in the licensing business. They make millions of dollars. It's like next time you get a chance, don't just do research on how much money they're making on books. Pay attention to what they're making on Marvel Snap. Google how much Marvel made on Marvel Snap, and that's a licensing agreement because that's a third party company that's licensing Marvel characters for the game.
Shoot, Fortnite's the one media that has all of the fantasy and comic book characters in one place.
Man,
you know what's crazy?
That's a bar, man.
I was.
Stop talking. Stop talking. We keeping the secret. I don't want to hear no more.
I was thinking the other day. I said, "What's the best Spider-Man story that you've experienced?"
The best Spider-Man story.
Check it out. Marvel hasn't even written it.
Yeah, it's been Sony. It's been Sony.
It's been Sony.
Yeah.
They got the 2 best movies
Spider
They got
Verse.
all the Spider-Man movies.
Oh, you talking about just the movies?
No, I'm just talking about who has written the best Spider-Man story that you've either seen or read. Either it's one of the animated films,
The
or
video
one of the
game.
Tom Holland Spider-Man, or the actual Spider-Man video game. These are
For me,
these are writers, these are stories.
I know it's not
But
important, but
these
for
are
me, it's Michael J. Straczynski when he did that big run with the J. Scott Campbell covers.
with
That-
Moreland. That's
Yeah,
my favorite.
when
And
they
it's
first
interesting
introduced
that you bring it up because we talk about reviews. The average Spider-Man fan hates that run.
What?
No, because he's the one. Isn't he the one that did one more day or something like that? People
He
trash that run all the time.
He does that after. Yeah, he does that after that.
They trash that all the time because of the spider totems were introduced and all this kind of stuff. Like how he's the guy they took it out of canon, but he's the guy that suggested that Spider-Man is basically a descendant of a Nazi, right?
I remember that. Yeah, they do hate that.
He wants,
they do.
yeah,
hate that.
they hate that wrong. Talking about reviews and stuff.
All right.
Yeah, I went on a tangent, but yeah, you want to level up.
Dang, Imani, I'm gonna have to call you tomorrow, and we just gonna have to do a work session where we can talk.
Hey, put me on the call too. Put me on the call too.
Because I want to talk. Because I want to talk about this and some other stuff too. So yeah.
And we're back on next Wednesday too.
Yeah, we're back on next Wednesday.
All right. So question number 5, we always have our guests do a top 5 list right off the top of our head. So Imani, you are the researcher. You know Black Comix. You know Black Keys. I want to know, what are your top 5 Black Keys? If you could have any 5 Black comics in history, what are the 5 Black Keys? Going from 5 to 1 or 1 to 5, however you want to do it.
5 to 1. All right, number 5, Black Comic Key.
Oh shoot, Sean Damian Hill's in the building, y'all.
Hey,
which is definitely within reach. Oh, that's a legend, living legend right there. Was definitely within reach is Luke, Hero for Hire, number 1.
Okay,
that's doable. Yeah.
Yep.
Number 4 of a key. Now these are all the big boys. So
yeah.
First is I'm gonna get this list wrong, but the first is definitely, the next one is definitely Black Man. Okay. Black Man. The next one after that would be Eben. Okay.
Iman.
Iman. Where am I at? 3.
That's 3. You got 2 more.
2 and 1. Number 2, and these can kind of be interchangeable. Number 2 would be Negro Romance.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And number 1, All Negro Comics.
All Negro Comics, yeah. I knew you were going in that direction. See, I was expecting, well, I should have known because it's you, but I was expecting some like first appearance of Black Panther, like what is it, Fantastic Four, whatever it was. You know,
now my man Phil says that every Black collector should have a copy of that book.
Yeah,
and he's right. And I like the way he puts it, like, you know, instead of spending hundreds of dollars every week on this new stuff, man, save up your money. Even get you a low grade copy, man. You should. It's like we got to do our duty. We got to get these. You know, we got to take care of these books. We can't expect other folks to take care of these historical books.
I'm on it. I'm gonna get me a copy of that for sure. Imani, man, like I said, we ran over time, but I appreciate you coming on and talking to us for a little bit. Let me see what I got to do at the end here. Where can people keep up with you? I don't usually do this. We use the Kyron. So Imani, before we go, tell people what you got coming up next and where they can find you.
So yeah, you can keep up with me at blackcomicsuniverse.com. Sign up for our mailing list. That's how I get in touch with followers and stuff like that. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Black Comix Universe. Or follow me, Imani Lateef, on all those social media outlets. I'm trying to get hip to Blue Sky. That's supposed to be the next big thing. So I need to migrate from the Pornhub that is Twitter and get on this Blue Sky thing. Yeah, that's what they say. Everybody's leaving Twitter. But yeah, that's the main things. And the thing I got coming up next, I'm telling you guys, I'm letting you spoil this first, Danny, is that my next virtual event, because y'all are familiar with my BCU virtual events, is going to be next March 2025, and we're going to be doing it big with virtual contests, looking to do an actual virtual cosplay contest online, and a pitch contest for Black Indies.
Okay.
So we're gonna be doing it, virtually, but like a traditional, comic convention, panel submissions, the whole 9 yards.
I love it. Michael Watson, Most Epic. What you got coming up, and where can people find you, sir?
I will be at GalaxyCon Columbus, December 6th through the 9th. So if you are looking for a convention, GalaxyCon is a really good show. They put on a great show. I love going to those. I'll be featured there, and I will be doing moderation, panels, and I'll be at my booth promoting the books and stuff. But we're going to get ready to announce when we're going to drop the Hot Shot Trade Volume 3 Kickstarter. And I've decided if we get enough money raised on it, issue 13 will be a stretch goal because it's getting colored and inked right now, which means also getting lettered by Danny. So that's me. You can find me at Most Epic on all social media, Most Epic Art.
So I get about, we're talking about what?
Stop.
Man, I'm saying, man.
What are you no, because I already got the Visions of books in. I'm just waiting for the books to come from China, so we're shipping those. 5-star is being shipped over to Backer Hit right now, so we can put that to the printer. We are talking about immediate returns on people. Immediate returns.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, actually, it's funny. The spoiler, I actually seen some. That's the thing. I've actually seen some panels for 13. So I'm like, yeah, I'm ready, man.
Dope. All right, y'all. And you know where you can find me. Website is fourthwallpros.com. And if you want to find me online, it's at the Ace Blade on all social media sites. Y'all join us next week. We are supposed to be having the CEO of Global Comics, Chris Carter, on the show next week. Definitely make sure you get in those Beam Awards. But until next time, stay vigilant, my friends. I'm out of here.
All right. And I'm sorry I played the outro for the intro. My apologies.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.